Hello. Before you step into this mini course on how to become a tutor, I'd like to tell you a bit about who I am and how I've got into the position that I am today, and have the knowledge to be able to hopefully pass on to you and help you build a successful tutoring business as well. I got into the world of childcare and education when I was 24. I had three young children, and my A levels were appalling. Um, that's a long story, which I won't bore you with today. But basically, at the age of 24, I decided I wanted to do something with my life, and it had to be something that fitted in with my kids. So initially, I went down to the playgroup where my oldest daughter was, Clara, and asked if I could go in as a volunteer. And Mary, the lady who I will be eternally grateful for that ran the playgroup, said yes, I could. And after a couple of months, they took me on as the Senko for the setting, and they also gave me the responsibilities for doing the policy planning for the setting. Once I'd finished my diploma in preschool practice, I then wanted to continue, so I then did my degree in childcare and education. And at the time, I also felt that Clara, my oldest daughter, again, could be dyslexic. So I approached the school and said, would they be willing to get her assessed? And they instantly dismissed the idea. So I thought, okay, I didn't have the confidence to fight my corner. So if they weren't willing to support her, then I would find out what I could. It would complement my degree about learning styles and dyslexia and different learning difficulties. And so over the last, there's been 15 years now, 20 years since I started in education. Over the last 15 years, that has been my passion. Then 9 years ago, a friend suggested I had a go at tutoring. And first I wasn't so sure, but the more she talked about it, the passion that she held for it, the more I kind of thought, well, actually, yes, that is something I would like to do. But my background, having been predominantly early, although I'd worked in mainstream schools, I'd worked in residential units for children with extreme autism, I'd worked in units attached to mainstream schools for children who had much more mild autism. I'd worked as an MVQ assessor, I'd worked as a childminder. My background by that time was quite extensive, but it all focused on the fact that children ought to be supported in a way that was suitable to their own unique learning style. So if you're an auditory learner, then the tutor would or teacher would spend time with them speaking, and if they're a visual learner, then you need to use visual aids, and etc., etc. But everything I'd learned over the previous years basically meant that this was how tutors would behave, and I didn't have a clue. So a friend and I sat down and we brainstormed, if I had a tutor for myself, what would I expect? And that was basically the founding principles of Clara James Tutoring. Originally, when we started in 2012, it was just myself. It was supposed to be just something I could do as a side to my job. Within 6 months, it had become my full-time business. Within 18 months, there was too much work for just me, so I started to find other tutors that I could recommend. About 5 years ago, 6 years ago now, I changed tactics and I started employing tutors to work with me rather than as an agency approach. And in 2019, we set the business up to franchise. So the business has, over the years, gone from strength to strength, but there's always been a few fundamental things that we've focused on. And customer service is obviously one of those, but also the fact that we acknowledge that every child is different and we support the children in that way. So the 5 principles which I'm putting forward now are in this mini course are 5 things that I wish I'd been introduced to and supported with when I'd first set out. Since I set out, I've obviously had the experience of building the business, but I've also had mentors. I've read hundreds of books. I've attended a lot of additional courses. We've been nominated for national awards. I've made mistakes. Hands up, I've made a lot of mistakes, but every time we've made a mistake, rather than trying to bury our head in pity, we've used that as an opportunity to be able to go, actually, what can we learn from this mistake? And we've taken it as something to help move the business forward rather than something could be perceived as some stumbling block. But fundamentally, this course breaks down the 5 key things that I think would have helped me the most when I got started. And I hope that if you do progress and do the course, that it helps you too, and you love your future as a tutor. That's poetry there. As much as I love doing it. Have a great day, and I hope you benefit a lot from the course. Take care. Bye.